in America. What happened on July 4th, and they'll tell you, July 4th, 1776, was when the Declaration of Independence was approved by Congress. Now, while we celebrate that, and that's recognized not just in the United States, but in many countries, people can tell you July 4th is American Independence Day. But, alas, in America, we have another Independence Day. How many of you are aware of that? On June 19, 1965. Does anyone know what happened? A major general by the name of Gordon Granger rode in to Galveston, Texas with Union troops and advised the slave population there, along with all of the other Texans, of the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed by Abraham Lincoln in what year? 1863. In 1863. Oh. News was a little slow getting to Texas. Just a little. Well, 2.5 years after the event happened, gives new meaning to snail mail. People in Texas found out. Needless to say, for some it was a joyous occasion, for others an occasion to lament. But we're going to focus on the joyous occasion. Now, June 19th has great significance because that's when they became aware that they were free. Now, the interesting thing about a law is not really a law if some people are ignorant of it and others don't want to embrace it. It's even harder to enforce a law under circumstances where there are not enough troops to make sure that it is enforced. And that is one of the prime reasons why independence didn't come to a certain segment of the population in Texas until 1865. Prior to June, what is now called Juneteenth.
Oh, yes.
Have many of you or any of you heard of Juneteenth?
Yes.
Okay. Juneteenth is what it's called now because it happened in June and on the 19th, so the word was merged. Prior to that time, December 31st had always had great significance to the African American community in this country. And as I was researching, I thought, okay, to most people, the 31st of December is significant. I mean, we close the end of the year with our families. Many of us, it has a religious tone of celebration and thanks. But I also found out that in the African American community, it was also called Watch Night. Why Watch Night? Okay. Watch Night, I'm watching for the new year to come in. But they had always gathered on the 31st because January 1st represented reckoning day for the masses. A time to tally up what was owed, if profits had been made, and if profits had not been made, and if there were debts to settle, he needed to have all of his property there so things could be parceled up for sale. And unfortunately, sometimes that included people. And so families on the 31st would come together because they didn't know what the first would bring for them. If the first they'd actually be together as a family, or if the 31st marked the last time that they would be together on this earth as a family. And so the fact that the Emancipation Proclamation took effect on January 1st also has great significance. Because at a time when people typically were tallying up to see if they had to sell anything, for the first time in many, many years, they would have to find another way to settle their accounts. Now, although Texas was a little slow sharing the news, they redeemed themselves in 1980 by becoming one of the first states to make Juneteenth an official state holiday. To date, it is a holiday recognized in 36 states. Juneteenth is also significant, not just to African Americans, but when we celebrate one part of our history, we celebrate all of our history, because we're all interconnected. And that is reflected, I think, in the name of this country. There are only a few countries that identify themselves as united. And the fact that we can be united on July 4th as we celebrate independence from Great Britain. And now, you can be united as you celebrate Juneteenth. Welcome to the other Independence Day.